What is up, my Pokemaniacs? This video is going to be a detailed video about my experience cross-grading from CGC to PSA, so stick around to the end of the video to see the grades. The idea here is to paint a picture of how the two grading companies are with their grading standards. Of course, we have to take into account that these graders, who are employees of a grading company, are human and error is bound to happen. They're human. It's going to happen. Alright, so with that being said, inconsistencies might happen. If you try this cross-grading method here, you guys might get mixed results. First, let's do a little quick overview of how each grading company has their standards per their own website. So from my quick research, PSA grading standards is that PSA is a bit lenient on grading on a PSA 10. They give some leniency like 60-40 centering on the front of the card, 75-25 on the back of the card to be a PSA 10, which I don't quite understand. Since it's the company's highest grade, why would you give leniency to a card and make it your highest grade possible that you can give out? That doesn't really quite make sense to me. If the grading company has a PSA 10 as their best grade possible, why is there so much leniency on that card? That's, I don't know, make that make sense. On the other hand, CGC has some leniency in their Gem Min 10 area, which is 55-45 on the front of the card and 75-25 on the back. Then of course the Pristine 10 is a flawless grade, so once a Pristine 10 is given to a card, that card should be treated as a pristine, flawless card. Also, they do have half grades, and I know PSA does have half grades as well, but CGC uses them a lot more. They have the 0.5 grades in between a whole grade. So let me give you an example of why that's important to me, my opinion. So CGC grades a card and it gets a, I don't know, CGC 10, right? And then they grade that same card and it gets a CGC 9. Let's just say that CGC 10 slab got a 10 and it was worth $100. If it gets a CGC 9, it might drop 30-40% in value. So from a 10 to a 9, you have the most drastic price change. And with it dropping so much in price, why can't there be a middle ground? Why can't there be a middle ground for a Gem Min 10 and a 9? You know, you need to close that gap into the price drop inside of a grade. So a CGC 10, CGC 9, CGC 9.5 steps in to tell you this card isn't bad enough to get that CGC 9 drop to get that drastic value change, but it's also not a Gem Min 10 card to get that 10 as well. So 9.5 is the sweet spot and hopefully cuts down on the price drop from a 9 to a 10 or a 10 to a 9. So that's my opinion on that one. Okay, that was a super quick summary of each respective grading company standards. They have it on their website. It's not a secret. You guys can go check that out and look at that stuff for yourself. This is my opinion. This is how I see it, my perspective, and you guys can let me know down in the comments below if I totally messed something up, if you agree with some stuff, and hopefully this opens up more of a dialogue between PSA and CGC type of grading standards. Now let's get to cracking and let's get those slabs out of the case. Alright, so here we go. The 3 CGC slabs that we're going to be cracking open to send off to PSA. These range from a 7.5 Pikachu, an 8 Brock's Sandslash, and a Latias Gem Min 10. These are 3 totally separate grades, different grades. We have 2 Blue Legacy CGC grades, which they say are a lot harsher, and they graded their cards a lot harsher. And then here is one of the new CGC Gem Min 10 cards that I have here, and I'm going to be honestly surprised, extremely surprised, if this card does not come back a PSA 10, to be very honest with you. I expect, in my personal opinion, I don't own PSA cards, so I'm going to go out there on a whim and just say my opinion. I think that CGC cards, scratch that, PSA cards are very lenient when they come to grading cards, and they're very lenient with their PSA 10s. Some PSA 10s don't look like PSA 10s, and that's kind of off-putting to me, and they hold a lot of market value as well, so that's kind of even more off-putting, that they hold such a high market value, but yet their PSA 10s do not look like PSA 10s. So that's my quick little rant, little 10-15 second rant. So we're gonna crack the 7.5 first, the 8, and then the 10, and then we'll send it off to PSA. And then after this, we get everything cleaned up. Then we're going to be cracking open the PSA slabs. All right. So this is my first time going to be cracking open any type of slab, but I thought that we would use some type of cloth to wrap around it first so shards don't go flying everywhere, because I did see that happen on somebody's YouTube video. And I do have, like, these are a little bit sharper pliers. These are like wire cutter kind of pliers. We do have several types of screwdrivers, a flathead and then a thinner flathead right here. So we can use both of those to pry open after we crack it. So throughout this video, comment down below. Let me know what you think these grades will come back as PSA, or the PSA ones come back as CGC slabs or labels. So we're gonna cover this a little bit, and then we're gonna crack it open. I'm hoping I have enough room to crack this one open. I'm gonna do it right at the very edge. I don't even think this one will work. Oh yeah, it does work, so let's go ahead and do this. There you go. First slab cracked. CGC slab, Blue Legacy. And I hate to see it because I love my CGC slabs, but this is an experiment, YouTube video style. So we're gonna get this little one, work our way in there. Yep. Crack it all the way down. I need a bigger one here. You need to use the big, heavier one. Heavy duty coming through. See, people are just cracking it open from the very top. Okay, let's take this little paper out first. You can see that I've never held that paper in my hand as well. It's all very new to me. So please, in the comments, don't not roast me on how I absolutely failed on cracking this, but I thought I did a pretty good job. It's out of the case. You have that CGC guarantee little sticker or label that I have on there. Take that out. Let's put this very quickly in a sleeve, because that's one thing that you don't want to happen, is to crack it and then hurt it, It's got some hollow bleed on it. Now that I can see it a lot more closer, there are, a little bit of light hollow scratching there. It has a nice little swirl on its tail end of it. Besides that, it looks very good. Very, very good. So Pikachu, get ready to become a PSA card right here. So that's the first one cracked. Now on to the Brock's Sand Slash. The Near Mint to Mint 8. That was actually pretty easy to crack, to be quite honest with you. Very, very easy to crack. Now here comes the second one. Oh wow, there you go. No, I can still fit something in there. I thought I didn't crack it, too much in there. I guess the more you do it, the better you become, because this is actually becoming very easy. I just don't want to get anywhere near the card. There you go. Let me get the paper out here. Paper stuck. Well, that's one thing they do right. Really get something in there. Come on, come on, come on out here. Alright, success. That one was kind of like, had some type of stickiness on it, but either way, we got the Near Mint to mint 8 Brock Sandslash. Let's get this card out. Let's look at it very quickly. Like I said, the back, there's some whitening towards the corners, a little right there in the center. The front, it's got a little bit of things. It actually has, I think that was just a reflection of things, but surface looks a little bit nicks here and there. Either way, we're gonna send it off and we're gonna see what it creates as a PSA slab. And then there was one, the Gem Min 10 Latias AR from V-Star Universe. This one I didn't want to crack, but I also didn't want to crack a pristine or a perfect Blue Legacy label as well, or a pristine 10 as that, because I definitely know that that's going to come back a 10. So I just wanted to do something that was a little bit more. Oh, that one flew. What the? That one really flew. That one absolutely flew. And CGC didn't change their slabs at all. It's just the label wise. So I'm not expecting any different from opening up these, and they don't feel any different here. Exact same slab, just different label. Get a little bit closer here. Crack that baby open right there. That was a successful one. Yes, sir, successful one. Okay. Let's try to get this one out. Not bad, not bad, not bad. We're gonna sleeve this up, not even play with this one, because I don't want any defects on it. I don't want nothing affecting it. Come back a PSA 10, because like I said, if it does not come back a PSA 10, I'm gonna be very, very worried. And the next time you see these cards are gonna be in PSA slabs. And we're gonna determine to see how they grade and how each grading company, or the biggest two grading companies, grade their cards. All right, so on to the PSA slabs. All right, so we got to the part where the PSA slabs are here. These are the PSA cards that we're going to be sending off to CGC for the cross grading. We got the Blastoise E-Series, we got the Charmander Toys R Us, and we got the special delivery Charizard. So we picked these cards. Or actually, these are not my cards. These are not my slabs. I do not own any PSA slabs. I am a CGC collector. So I had to reach out to a good friend, Elijah. So Elijah, if you're watching this video, big shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for sending these out to me and doing this video to get this cross graded. So let's first look at the lowest grade that we have here. It's going to be a Blastoise from Expedition. It's got an excellent, I think that's excellent PSA 5. Now this one's going to be a very interesting card to send off to grading, because we could not find for the life of us why it's a 5. I know it has the corners are a little whitening, the centering I believe is a little bit off, but besides that we do not see why it's an excellent 5. So that's going to be really good. Well, I could say really good to see if CGC can catch something, or if it's just a bad grade from PSA. Next up, we got the Charmander Toys R Us promo cards. Got light scratching on the hollow. I believe it's a little bit off center. The corners have whitening. So near mint 7, maybe a little bit harsh grade on this one. Could be a little bit higher, I believe, but we're gonna see. That's why we're cross grading them, just to see what CGC can offer for us. Special delivery Charizard got the mint 9. So like I said, with CGC they have a 9.5 in between that 9 and the 10, because I believe, or they believe, that the value versus a 9 and a 10 is drastically different, and kind of that's a little wrong if you ask me, or if you ask them. That a card It gets a 9, but maybe it's a little bit better than a 9, so it should get that 9.5. Or if it's just good enough to get that 9.5, so they have to round it up to a 10. So that's why some 10s are don't quite look like 10s in PSA slabs. But this one's going to be very interesting to see. It does have some hollow scratching right there, right on this back end right here, and some other hollow scratches as well. It's got a nice little swirl. I believe, yeah, corners are a little whitening as well. So yeah, I think a 9 is perfectly fine with this one. Maybe I could see it getting a CGC 8.5 maybe, but we'll see on that one. So it's cracking time, guys. All right, first off we're gonna crack is the Blastoise. The Blastoise boy. Okay, let's see how we did this. I'm gonna do one layer here. I'm putting this because I don't want shards of plastic flying everywhere. So we're gonna see if we can cut this open. Actually, we're gonna have to unfold this. I didn't think we unfolded it that much last time, but let's see. Let's crack this baby. All right, that's cracked. Might have to take off a little bit more. Well, that kind of jumped everywhere already, but just get these out the way. The worst thing we could do here is get the card out and kind of damage it on the way out. That would defeat the whole purpose of cross grading these. But I believe I got a good little handle on this. Oh, the label kind of got beat up on that one, but I feel like that's alright, as long as the card doesn't get damaged in any way. I don't know, I feel like the CGC slab kind of opened up a lot easier, which is not particularly a good thing, to be quite honest with you, but alright, we're gonna switch to the bigger one. Let's see if we can get it all out without damaging the card here. So I'm making sure not to get too close to the card there. See if we can just take this off here. Yeah, these are a lot tougher to take out. It's a very good thing actually, but I don't want to damage none of these cards. Wow. These PSA slabs are not easy to crack. Not quite easy to crack. I feel like this side cracked very good. It's coming off very nicely, but okay. Successfully out of the slab. I feel like the next one we're gonna have to crack a lot better. But there you are. Blastoise coming out of the PSA slab. Like I said, we did not see anything crazy on these. Yeah, this card was not that crazy. I mean, to get a PSA 5, it has to be some type of crazy damage on it, so that's something that we have to look at. I think that sleeve was a little bit dirty in a way. Yeah, I mean, it's a little like, I would say like LP, but nothing crazy. Like if it's like a moderately played or high played type of thing that you would expect like a PSA 5 would come back in, but Not too shabby right there. Hopefully that gets a better grade with CGC. And then we'll take out the label as well. There you go. My slabs that I cracked open, so nothing gets out of whack with the proper ports. Seems a little harder. There we go. Perfect stuff here. That was I was barely at the edge of that thing. No way, come on. I keep getting the very edge of it. No, actually, I think I got it. Try this in there. And the label we're taking a big hit on, but I'd rather take a big hit on the label than the actual card, so I think we're fine on that. Got cracked there. Not a good thing. Ooh, cracking that one pretty badly. I feel like this side of the card, or this side of the slab, opens up better or nicely, so. Okay. Alright, the right side of the slab is looking very nice. It's going very good. And if I just continue prying it from this side, it'll be a lot better. Crack that a little bit. I feel like I'm gonna need to crack this a lot better. I'm gonna crack the bottom half of it, see if I can get that corner out. I don't want to get near the card either, so there you go. Crack the bottom half and let's see if that opens up a lot easier. Man, this PSA stuff is really tough to open up, man. Okay, you kind of have to work it. Okay, that's not bad. I feel like that little crack that we did in the bottom really helped out. See if we can put this one here. Okay, yeah, there you go. There it is. Nice. There we go. Very, very nice. Perfect. Okay. Perfect stuff right there. Let's turn this baby over. Get this out. Put this shards everywhere else. Take off anything that we do see here. No damage, actually. No damage. We can confirm that. No damage from cracking it. Absolutely no damage. We're going to put it in the sleeve right away. And we're going to keep it like that until we send off to PSA. So, let's take this slab out of here. I mean, the label. And there you go. Near mint 7. Alright, for this next one, let me just do a quick cleanup of the area. Alright. Now that everything's out the way, we got the last contender, which is the mint 9. So Elijah sent me over a great selection of cards, from a very bad one, medium, and then a top grade right here. So this could easily come back 9.5 CGC. I believe it's going to come back a 9 as well from CGC. considering the whitening down here on the corner, and I believe the hollow scratching, so the light. I don't think they dock too much for the light scratching on the hollow, but yeah, that's something something that they could probably dock. Okay, came out pretty easily. All right. Come on. Okay, that's a little harder. A little bit harder to crack here. There you go. Perfect. Let me get all these shards out of here. Whoever thought that cracking slabs was gonna be such a hard thing, right? Definitely not me. Cracking these slabs are not an easy game. Probably people with years of experience in doing it. Maybe have their own kind of method of doing things, but definitely not me. I feel like it's better in these PSA slabs to kind of go in towards the edge and kind of lift from the edge. I feel like the CGC slabs kind of opened up a lot easier. I think just towards the middle and then just pried open. So once again, like I said, PSA slabs a little bit harder to open up, which is a very good thing. Very good thing. I'm not trying to talk smack about anything or any, because I don't have that experience with PSA to be doing that. Yeah, but this side of the slab feels really easy to be opening up. Feels like very natural way of doing it, so maybe we just got the hang of it already, and it's a good thing that we got the hang of it on the more expensive card or the more bigger grade of the PSA slab. So perfect stuff. Absolutely perfect opening right there. There you go. Nice crack. Clean the hands off, make sure nothing's on the hands. And there we go. Special delivery Charizard coming through. That sleeve was a little dirty. Put it in another one. And there we go. Special delivery Charizard, third PSA slab to be cracked. And this is going to be sent out to CGC as well. So make sure you guys stick around to the very end, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how each company did at the very end. My conclusion, like I said, I am more of a CGC man myself, but I'm going to try to put bias aside, make sure we do this the right way, and talk about things in the right manner. Scientifically speaking, you know, we had 3 different separate cards to be experimenting on. So 3 cards went to CGC, 3 cards are going to go to PSA as well, and at the very end we'll talk about them. So make sure you guys like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and next up it's going to be the grade reveals. Alright, so first up we're going to be discussing the PSA slabs that were cross graded to CGC, and I kept the labels here so we can keep referring to it. We have the special delivery Charizard getting a mint 9, the Blastoise getting an excellent 5, and then the Charmander Toys R Us Hollow getting a near mint 7 on that one. So we're going to keep these down here so we can refer to them throughout the video. And first, let's reveal the special delivery Charizard. See what kind of grade it got. Started off with a PSA 9, and like we said in the part that we cracked the slabs out, or the cards out of the slabs, it looked very good. This special delivery Charizard was good. Let's see what grade it got. It got an 8.5. 8.5 CGC. So it's a near mint to mint plus 8.5 versus a PSA 9. So in that aspect, it was okay. The grading is closer than ever, I would say. CGC matched or even gave it that 0.5 like we discussed, 0.5, just because it wasn't good enough to get that 9, but not horrible card to get the 8. So remember that when you guys get a 0.5 from CGC. So I agree with this grade. I really do agree with this grade. 8.5 to 9, not much difference. You know, the grading standards are there, guys. You have to take that into account. PSA, yes, holds the biggest market share or value of each slab. I get it. Maybe because they've been around for the longest, but to me that's not a valid point to say, hey, this slab is worth more than this slab, and this slab is worth more than this slab, just because that grading company has been here for the longest. Yes, they gain experience, they gain the dominance over the market. But if another grading company can show you that it can grade almost exactly the same or even a little bit better, why wouldn't that one continue to grow, continue to get the respect that it needs, and continue to fight for dominance in the industry? Competition breeds excellence. Competition breeds excellence. So we need that competition in the market here. So next up, we're going to be revealing the Blastoise. This one, I could say we did not see, or I did not see anything on the card for it to get the PSA 5. I wasn't sure. Maybe I thought PSA did a horrible job on grading this one. So this one was kind of like a basis for me in a way, for the PSA to CGC grading, because I did not see anything of it. I did not see a dent, a crease, or anything that would give it a 5. Because honestly, a card really has to get a bad crease or damage for it to get a 5. So I wasn't expecting CGC to give it a 5.5 to almost agree with PSA. Like I said, the card does not look bad at all. Doesn't look bad. I don't know if I'm maybe missing something. Hopefully some of you guys who are watching the video can let me know. The scans are there on CGC's part. The back, not bad at all either. There are some whitening. There are some things that will bump it down a couple grades, but I don't know about a 5. But if both grading companies gave it a 5 or and a 5.5 respectively, that has to be the grade for that particular slab right there. Something has to be going on. And once again, CGC confirmed the 5 to the 5.5 of that card. So last but not least, we have the Charmander Toys R Us Holo. This is an awesome card right here. Toys R Us, man, brings so much memories back. But this Charmander got a near mint 7, and as we discussed in cracking of the slab, it did not look bad. This Charmander PSA 7 did not look bad. I don't know what was being seen, what was being graded upon or anything like that, but it wasn't bad. It's a 2016 card from the Evolutions era. So I know Evolutions is pretty hard to find a well-centered card, if you can say that. But other than that, the Charmander had a very good possibility to get that upper grade, and it absolutely did with the mint 9. So this Charmander Toys R Us Holo went from a PSA 7 to a CGC 9. Now, I know, PSA fanboys are going to come in here versus CGC fanboys. But I totally agree more with this grade than this grade, to be honest with you. The scans are there, like I'm saying. The certificate numbers right there. The cert number that you can look up are right there. So you guys can go check out those images for yourself. Yes, there is light scratching. Yes, but this is a well-centered card. There are a couple white dots on the back of the corners. I think 2 out of the 4 corners have whitening in the back. But I agree more with the CGC 9. Like, use your eyes. Agree with it. You as well are a grader in your eyes if you follow Pokemon, if you like the hobby, if you know a substantial amount of sets, eras, and how they're printed and what are the defects inside of those prints. You guys know as well. Personally, I do agree with this one a lot more than the 7. But for me personally, I would have gave it an 8.5, to be very honest with you guys. So it's in between. 7 is really harsh to give this Charmander Holo. It's really harsh. So I agree with that one. And my overall opinion of this PSA to CGC grading is that for these two, it were right on par. CGC has its standards to compete with PSA, and here's to show it for you. This one, you guys can say whatever you guys want in the comments, but I agree with this grade more than this grade to me. And you guys can see the scans, and you guys can be the judge of that. After the video, during the video, pause the video for a little bit, go check out the cert numbers, and you guys make the judgment on that one. All right, so that is our PSA to CGC cross grade. Super happy these two. This one even more happier for it to get that mid 9 upgrade, because that was a harsh grade for the PSA 7. All right, so next up we have the CGC to PSA cross grade. So we kept the labels like we did. We got the Latias having a Gem Mint 10. We have the Brock Sand Slash with the blue old vintage label getting the Near Mint to Mint 8. That's actually called the Legacy label, if you guys didn't know. And Pikachu Black Star promo getting a Near Mint 7.5 on that one. So we're going to keep the labels here so you guys can refer to them as we're doing this video. First one we're going to see is going to be Brock's Sand Slash. Brock's Sand Slash, vintage, first edition Brock Sand Slash. What more can I say? I've spoke to a couple people who do regular PSA submissions, really valid people who follow PSA, have a bunch of PSA slabs in their collection, stuff like that. And they do say that PSA does grade vintage a little harsh, which I don't quite get, because if a card is flawless, if a card is good, is a 10, give it that 10. Don't be harsh just because it has vintage in it and vintage qualities or a vintage set, and bump it down for just because it's vintage. It's like kind of market manipulation for me, because if it is a vintage card and it is a flawless card and in your mind is a 10, but the standards are graded harsher because it's a vintage, that kind of doesn't sit well with me. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments down below. But this Brock Sand Slash got a Near Mint 7. So a Near Mint 7. So the previous section was the PSA to CGC cross grade, and the images are there, guys. The images are there. How does this Brock Sand Slash PSA 7 compare to the Charmander Hollow Toys R Us? I don't get it. I really don't. This one is a little bit worse condition, so I kind of do get why this one got a 7 versus the 8. It's not too drastic change, to be very honest with you. This is too close to even give a definitive kind of opinion of how well PSA did on this one. It's quite close, so we're going to call this one an equal or a tie. But this Brock Sand Slash, I don't know. This Brock Sand Slash does look like a PSA 7, but the Charmander on the previous section of the video does not look like a PSA 7. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments if I'm missing something, but that's the way I would call this one. So a Near Mint 8 Brock Sand Slash from CGC's Legacy label going down to a Near Mint 7. So that is very close. So I call that one a tie right there. Next up, we got the Pikachu. My beloved Pikachu from my collection decided to cross-grade it over to PSA. So Pikachu Black Star promo. What can I say about this card? It started off as a 7.5, and then it got to a Near Mint to Mint 8. Once again, another tie coming through for the CGC to PSA. And this is just like, this cements it, guys. Like, this is very close. Very, very close in grading. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, once again, PSA being the longest running company in the grading industry. But if you guys are getting close ties here, a respected name like PSA versus CGC, and they're getting very close grades, that has to tell you something. And it means more for CGC than PSA. Anything good that CGC does and grades well and keeps your grading standards, accordingly, it means more to them than it does to PSA. So near mint to mint 8 versus a CGC 7.5. So these two are ties, and we saved the best for last right here. This one. And I said during the video, I said if this Latias does not come back as a PSA 10, I would be very worried. I would be distraught. I would be heartbroken to see this Latias that was pulled pack fresh into a sleeve and everything went well with cracking it and then sending it off to PSA only to get a mint 9 drop on it. Japanese quality is there, guys. Japanese, quality control is there. And it definitely showed in this card. Like I said, the cert number is there. You guys can go check out the images for yourself, high quality images. But this Lati is coming back as a mint 9. I do not approve of this. I really don't. Not just because it's my card, but the images are there. The card is flawless. The centering is good. Like I said, if the centering is not good, then it should be a PSA 10 because PSA has more leniency on their centering in the front and in the back of both companies. Centering, it's the same, but in the front, it's more lenient for the PSA. So I don't quite get this one. So I'm calling this one a win for CGC and a loss for PSA on that one. And here are all the slabs right here, front and center. Everything was cracked on video. This is the most transparent video that I can give to you guys. And my pointers are, PSA being the gold standard of grading, it definitely didn't show in this cross grade. The gold standard seems to be because it's been around for the longest, and that's it. CGC grading being so close to PSA means way more for CGC than it does for PSA. Cracking and submitting should be to cement the grades, like we saw on, these two, and then these two on the bottom. But it seems for PSA, if I were to submit this Latias card over and over and over again, it would eventually get that PSA 10, which I have seen people do, and they just keep submitting until they get that 10. And like I said in the beginning, guys, the graders, they're human. Inconsistencies will happen. Mistakes will happen. These are humans grading cards. It's bound to happen. But to see such a gap on this near mint 7 when it clearly doesn't look like a near mint 7 card for Charmander, and for it to get a mint 9, I would be at 8.5. So it leans more to the CGC grade for that one. And for this one, for it to be dropped down to a 9 for I don't know what reason, doesn't really make sense to me. For me, in my humble opinion, we got the better value out of the CGC cards than the PSA cards. But that's just my opinion. You guys let me know down in the comments below. Let me know how I did. Is this a good video? Is this a bad video? Do you guys want to see another cross grade with maybe a bigger pool of cards? Since, I already let you guys know CGC is on the come up. It's still relatively new to the Pokemon card grading or TCG grading, but they're making big strides. And the pristine 10, what can I say about that? It looks amazing. And like I said in the beginning, again, PSA giving such a big leniency to a PSA 10 doesn't quite make sense to me. It's your company's highest grade. Why would it have any type of leniency to it? Versus CGC having those half grades, which can kind of tell you it got a 5, but it's a little bit better than a 5, so it got a 5.5. And this one being so close as well, the special delivery Charizard getting a 8.5 instead of a 9, that kind of makes sense to me a lot more. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe if you like this video. Share it with people. Let's get some more eyes in this. Let's get some more more competition in the industry, in the grading industry. PSA holds the dominance. Yes, I agree with it. Market value, it's higher. If you want to just sell your cards off, sell your slabs off, go with PSA. If you want something that looks good, looks great, and is even on the same level as PSA grading, go with CGC. Give CGC a try. Make those assumptions for yourself. Don't watch these crazy videos that are just pointing every little detail or every little thing that's bad in each respective company. Do it yourself. Submit it for yourself. Have a deep dive. Learn how these companies grade, and then you will be able to figure out if one company is better than the other, or if a company should be giving that competitiveness to the top spot, which is PSA. So, thank you guys. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.